Last year, a white Florida man ran over a 24-year-old black woman named Jamaria Holly Cross after tailgating her for no obvious reason. At some point, Jamaria exited her car, and the man proceeded to hit and drag her body across a highway. In this incident, Jamaria survived, and her attacker was arrested and charged with attempted murder. In a separate case out of Ohio, a black woman named Lolita Hall was shot dead by an 81-year-old white man during a scheduled Uber delivery. These are similar to, or arguably worse than, the scene in Straw when Janiyah Wilkinson, played by Taraji P. Henson, is chased in her car by a plainclothes white officer. Later, that same cop threatens Janiyah by saying he'll find a legal way to blow her brains out. Though his road rage leads to Janiyah losing her car, her job, and her nerves in the following scenes, it is nowhere as bad as the real-life scenarios black women like Jamaria and Lolita faced. In the movie, Janiyah ends up in an ultimate standoff with the FBI at a bank. The fear she had about being shot dead or killed in police custody is all too similar to a real-life situation of a black woman in Louisville, Indiana, who ended up dead. In 2021, Tanisha Chappell was a 23-year-old and single mother of a 10-year-old daughter when she was found dead in police custody. Tanisha was arrested after a high-speed chase with a cop, who was told that she was a suspect in a theft at an outlet mall. The cop used excessive force and held a gun towards Tanisha when he initially stopped her on the highway, which made her flee. Eventually, when she was caught, the cops slammed her to the ground and tased her. The police took her to a nearby hospital before officially booking her at Jackson County Jail. She stayed there for over a month without receiving any of the required medical checks for those under arrest. A Rolling Stone magazine investigation found that she, quote, requested a bond reduction at a July 8th hearing, almost a month after her arrest, explaining that her, quote, medical issues required special care, but she was denied. 6 days later, she was pronounced dead. She was vomiting up blood for over 24 hours before any emergency medical assistance was called. The last scenes in Straw revealed that Janiyah had been hallucinating since her 7-year-old daughter died. In 2024, Krista L.R. Caesar published her story about living with bipolar disorder, a journey that included meeting women like Janiyah. Caesar described her manic episodes as so unmanageable that she, quote, had to be involuntarily hospitalized twice while attending Harvard Law School. During one of her hospitalizations, Caesar shared a room with an unhoused woman, quote, diagnosed with schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and PTSD, while, quote, being pregnant with her second child. According to Caesar, the woman refused to take prescriptions to avoid harming her unborn child. As a result, she lost her housing privileges and was released from the hospital. There are a lot of statistics explaining why these stories are more common than they should be. According to the Institute for Women's Policy Research, black women are, quote, 2.5 times more likely to be murdered by men than white women. So it's plausible that women like Janiyah in the movie Straw are victims of road rage incidents. According to the American Journal of Public Health, black women earning $25,000 or less annually are targeted more due to racist and misogynistic attitudes in America. This could leave them with PTSD, which in turn increases their likelihood of unemployment or involvement in rash decision-making. Only 3.6% of bank robberies, burglaries, or larcenies were committed by black women, according to 2024 federal data. For the past 40 years, men have significantly been more likely to complete property and violent crimes compared to women. However, black women are incarcerated at nearly twice the rate of white women committing similar crimes. Even when the rate of black women in prison decreased between 2000 and 2022, it stayed higher than the rate of imprisoned white women, according to research reported by Dr. Kristen M. Budd at the Sentencing Project. This rate was higher even when white women were arrested at an 18% higher rate during that same period. In a Psychology Today article, Dr. Brianna A. Baker referred to a, quote, history of forced sterilization, medical experimentation, and structural neglect as the reasons why black women would mistrust any pharmaceutical care offered to them to treat their medical conditions. Dr. Baker's research also found that black women particularly struggle with mental health treatments due to stereotypes of being, quote, resilient or better able to sort through their medical struggles. She writes that, quote, experience of moving through a society that both exploits and negates black existence creates a fracture in perception. one that is frequently labeled as paranoia, delusion, or disassociation rather than being understood. In Dr. Carey's view, a culturally sensitive approach to mental health care would be seeing hallucinations and bipolar episodes as Black women's, quote, rational response to an irrational world. Her research points to double consciousness and the systemic inequities as the main reasons Black patients disproportionately experience psychiatric conditions that lead to erratic behaviors. And if we hope to heal Black minds, she concludes, we must first acknowledge the structures that have sought to break them. This is another Tyler Perry screenplay solely written by him and produced by his studio, featuring a Black female protagonist. Besides, what are the Rotten Tomato scores, or does Tyler Perry hate Black women? The most searched question related to this new Netflix film is, was Straw based on a true story? And here, some would argue, is the issue. Dr. Tamika L. Carey wrote this about how Tyler Perry's movies and shows affect the public's perception of Black women. Quote, the unparalleled commercial success that Perry has attained through films that depict Black women overcoming personal crises raises questions about the intent behind his seemingly feminist-inspired representations of Black womanhood. His popularity points to a moment where Black women's pain is a commodity and their instructive journeys to wellness are an exploited site where writers can carry out their own agendas. At best, movie critics and academics like Dr. Carey believe Perry fails to show realistic and diverse stories of Black American women. At worst, they believe he misses the mark on purpose, using offensive characters to spread misinformation about the real lives of Black women and to make him a billionaire. Sadly, Straw is based on stories of real Black women, stories that are stranger and sadly more tragic than the plot of Tyler Perry's movie or any other type of fiction. However, Tyler Perry continues to do the bare minimum to tell these stories in a complete and responsible way. Right now, he's in the headlines for an entirely different and nefarious reason. But let's not forget that he's been a controversial figure since he first decided to depict Black women the way he does in his very first plays and movies. Leave your comments about the movie Straw below. Did you find the story believable? Do you think it was a necessary story to tell about Black women? And do you think the right person told the story? Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to get alerts on the next one.